Okay, so the video today is not near as long as it was yesterday. Pretty good day of cutting. You're about to see as you watch the video. We did cut a couple trees today. It cut a little bit bad. It's kind of disheartening, but we cut one that's just an absolute beast. Absolute giant there towards the end of the video, and you'll see it. It's probably the best quality tree I've ever actually had a hand in cutting. If not the best, definitely in the top 5. And I mean, I know I'm just a young guy, 33, but I've been logging right at 15 years now, full time. And I've been a part of cutting a lot of walnut in the last 15 years. I've bought a lot of walnut. I've bought a lot of big walnut timber. I've bought a lot of big walnut trees. I've been with Dad when he's bought a lot of big walnut trees and walnut timber. This is by far probably one of the best trees I've ever had the chance to be a part of, and probably the best one I've ever bought. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for following along. Enjoy today's video. Like, comment, subscribe. So close to 3,000. We last time I checked numbers earlier today, I think we were at 2936 on the subscriber count. So close to 3,000. Want to hit that 3,000 mark. Another thing, the Logger Threads team and Timber Tracker, Timber Dynamics, that owns Logger Threads and Timber Tracker, we are going to be at a forestry show the 24th of this month at Wappapello Lake, Missouri. We're going to be down there selling our Logger Threads clothing, and we'll be demoing the Timber Tracker app, kind of showing off some of the features it does to people that are unaware of it. So, if you ain't got nothing to do on a Saturday, it's a one-day event. This is going to be like our icebreaker. This is our first show of the year, our first show really ever. So we're going down there to get our feet wet to kind of see what it's all about, because we got some big ones scheduled for this year. So come on down to Lake Wappapello to the Woodsman Logger Awesome Expo. Come see and buy Logger Threads and Timber Tracker Stuff Expo. That's what we're calling it. You can find it on Facebook. Shanae's got the name written down. I've seen the name, but I'll talk about it in the weeks to come. It's 2 weeks from this Saturday, the 24th of this month, 24th of March, Lake Wappapello, Missouri. Come down and see us, hang out. We'll be down there. We're going to have the Logger Threads girls on hand. Logger Threads girls. But yeah, we'll be there hanging out, pushing Logger Threads and pushing Timber Tracker. So come hang out with us for the day, the afternoon. Hope to see you there. Guys, if you haven't checked out Logger Threads, check it out. You won't regret it. High quality American-made apparel. American-made, so you know it's good stuff. Guys, thanks a lot. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on all of our social outlets. Turner Logging LLC at Facebook, Turner Logging LLC at Instagram, Timber Tracker on Instagram, Facebook, the free Timber Tracker app, and timbertracker.net, and Logger Threads. LoggerThreads.com, Logger Threads on Instagram, Logger Threads on Facebook. Guys, I'm getting ready to kick this skid steer off. Brandon's here waiting on me. We're going to move some dirt. Enjoy today's video. We will see you tomorrow. Well, after yesterday's tragedy, as you've seen, we're back at it again today. That's all you can do. They're cutting one now. I'm ahead of him barking. Just got that guy there barked. And these are the lesser. These are the worst of them, I guess. The lowest grade trees in here. And that's got a pretty good log with it. It's got that funny configuration there, but we'll still pull some lumber above that out of the main body. And this here's a good tree. It's just not, and it has some size, but compared to what we've been cutting, it's just not super big. Tall, got a little bit of a crook in it where it grows. Got a big one there we got to pull. Got that monstrosity we definitely got to pull. There's another big one right there we got to pull. We're just kind of working our way through here. There's two real big ones. There's one great big one right there, and there's another real big one down here in the draw somewhere. That might be it I'm looking at there. I don't know. I don't think it is. No, the other one, that big tall top you see right there. So, like I said, I'm trying to get ahead of Dad here a little bit barking, because I just can't get over how dirty these things are. I've never seen trees in a place like this, or off the river, for that matter, that are as dirty as what these trees are, with just sand and dirt and sediment. Every stroke of the axe, it just looks like a dust storm. I mean, they are dirty. So I know yesterday's video was really long, and I didn't think I'd ever get it uploaded. I really didn't. It took forever to upload. And I actually had to trim it back to 39 minutes, 29 seconds because it wouldn't let me upload anything over 40 minutes, which, yeah, it's a long video, but there seemed like there was a lot going on yesterday, and we probably could have made it shorter, but that's how it turned out. Today's video won't be near as long, I promise. I don't know exactly. I'm sure we'll get to cut a few of these great big ones today, but I know pulling some of these is going to take some time too, because like I said, we've got a mess of them here to pull these bigger trees, so it'll take some time to get them on the ground. Dad's about to bring this one down. It's kind of, that's not really a double tree, but it's kind of got a nasty little thing coming off the base there. It's got a good log above it and a lot of footage in it, but it's just not a real high quality tree. But it'll still do really good. Should anyway. Let's see if we can wait here. He's clipping the spurs now, so he should be bringing it down here shortly. I'm still just a little distraught after those trees cut bad yesterday. It's boy, that was upsetting, very upsetting. Of course, yesterday we got done here. I went straight back to Stockton, and me and Brandon are doing a pretty. It's not a big dirt project, but big enough. Now today we started with this dozer yesterday. Moving some dirt, and of course getting the laser out and shooting grade and driving stakes, painting. But today I'm going to take the skid steer back as we go, and I'll have to shuffle the skid steer back and forth the next day or two, but it's just how it works. Cut logs in the morning and go play in the dirt of an evening right now. Because we enjoy those little dirt jobs. I wouldn't think there'd be too much holding this tree right now. Good thing is it's supposed to be up in the high 50s today, high 60s tomorrow. Next 2 days are beautiful working weather, then rain on Saturday. There it goes. Nice. Yeah, beautiful weather the next 2 days, and Saturday it's supposed to rain, chance of rain, but I've got to go up by Warrensburg, Missouri to look at a tract of timber up there, some walnut. So I've got a travel day Saturday. Then, I don't know, we'll just have to wait and see what the weather does, but I better get back to it so I can go get the skidder. That's a jewel right there. We were going to cut this one here, but we're pretty sure it's just a shell. It's got a bad lightning scar on the back side of that top limb. Of course, you can kind of see that hole there, that squirrel hole? That's never a good sign. We thought we could salvage a little bit out of that lower piece, but after thumping around on the axe, we're pretty sure it's just a hollow shell, because it sounds like a drum. So rather than to cut it and make a mess, we're just going to let it stand. It's still going to produce walnuts and leave out. Dad's about to bring this one down. And over there, it cut off really good. Now, some of these we're leaving. There's some smaller ones in here. We're just gonna, like that guy right there. And normally we cut trees that size. It's a good tree, but we're just gonna leave it for landowner's request, which I'm fine with that. Should be about ready to go. Dad's clipping the spurs right now. See it starting to rock there a little bit. Like I said, these few right here, they're the lesser of the group of trees. As far as size-wise, the quality should still be good. They just don't have the size a lot of these other big guys do. And the more I look around in here, the more I'm starting to see some old stumps. I'd say this walnut timber was harvested years and years ago, but it's been a long time. And whoever cut it then was extremely selective about it, and it shows. It's starting to go. There it goes. Well, maybe. It's wanting to. Must just be a little sliver holding somewhere. Probably ought to go up there and just push it over with the pusher. Yep, I think this time it's going to go. Gravity's going to get the best of it. Good deal. Hung up. Let's go pull it down. More insult to injury. She's a little bad here in the heart. Starting to go bad. Thing's been there a long time. Too long. Doesn't go very far, luckily. 6 inches. 8 inches. That's a shame. That's a heck of a log. Heck of a tree. Still got a lot of lumber in it, but it knocks it down out of the high grade. Knocks it down. Shut the skidder off here for just a second. This tree, it hung up in this little, there's a little walnut there. It's like a little walnut. No, it's not. What is that, elm? Yeah, it hung up in that little elm there. Yeah, that's how bad my eyes are. And we pulled it down, of course, the top went back around the back side of this other big one we've got to cut, so I had to take the skidder there and move that top around so we could get in there and cut this one. Now, see that big tall one right there? We've got it to cut. That's one of the better trees on the job, and Dad's cutting down this other really big tree right now on the other side of us. Then we were looking, there's 4 or 5 of these things we've got to pull, and this is one of them. And me and Dad were looking at it. It leans so hard back to the west here, back towards this fence. I don't think we could ever get it pulled down. I really don't. I don't think. I mean, it's a huge tree, and it's got a hard lean. I mean, it leans hard. I don't think we could ever pull it back this way. So we're gonna have to talk to the landowner if we can lower that fence down in order to get this tree on the ground. Which this is the tree that's lightning scarred real bad. As you can see there, but it's still got a ton of lumber material in it. Just a good lumber log is all it is, but definitely don't want to leave it. But it just, well, the top's so big too. Of course, you got that big limb there going back the other way. Of course, it's already leaning prominently that way as well. So I just don't think we could ever pull it back this way to get it shifted around. Let's go down here. I don't know how far along Dad is on this tree. We'll go down here and take a look. That's a big tree. That is just a huge tree. This last one I just drug out was a big tree. Oh, skidder's starting to roll. She won't go far. There's all the farther she went. What a tree. Such a jungle in here. Anytime you have to cut in these hedge groves like this, it's rough, man. Getting around with the skidder's rough. It's dangerous as can be with an open station machine getting through here because all these low-lying branches. You guys have been around hedge, or anybody that knows anything about hedge, it doesn't break easy. It's springy, and it'll, especially if you're not watching, it'll come back in the cab and get you. It's rough stuff. These are some of the biggest hedge trees I think I've ever seen, for as many of them as there are. I mean, it's a guy could probably honestly cut hedge logs out of this little patch here. There's that many of them. One thing about it, that hedge lumber, it is beautiful. Got that real light yellowish tint to it. And it'll be around longer than any of us will, that's for sure. top pushed up pretty nice there, I know that. Of course, I got in there and tried to cut it up as good as I could. And that makes a big difference when you're piling those treetops, how well you get them cut up, how tight they're going to pile. Which I wanted to get it cut up pretty good, get those Ys and crotches cut, that way we could bunch it around and have ample room for working around this big guy here. Probably going to have to push on this one with a pusher. Keep it away from hitting on that crotch there. That wind comes out. Looks like it's wanting to come back this direction anyway. That's probably a big reason Dad's going ahead and cutting this one here first. Now that's one good thing about hanging these trees up, is they got those big crotches or limbs that could pose danger and are busting up the tree. You can hang them up into these elm or these hedge or just whatever's around when you're cutting them. There's times people give us a hard time about hanging up trees, but honestly, a lot of times for us cutting this walnut, hanging up trees is a blessing, because we can grab onto it with the grapple and we can kind of control the speed of the fall when it comes to the ground, instead of it hitting real hard and all at once. And when you're dealing with high dollar wood like this walnut, I mean, it's all about finesse and taking your time. We're not out here trying to cut big volumes of logs every day. We're out here trying to bring these things down as safely and as carefully as possible. I think that's that tree there that old hedge was starting to grow into, if I remember right. Old trees take time to cut. So one thing about when you cut trees like this, you want to make sure everything's right on it. You don't want to get in too big a hurry and make a mistake. So it could be a very, very costly mistake. I hear it starting to pop. Starting to rock a little bit in the top there too. One thing about it, my dad, when it comes to cutting these things, he is an artist. He's a magician, he's an artist. There probably ain't too many men out here who've cut as many of these walnut trees as what my dad has. And even at 74 years old, you won't get him to do anything else. And he's going to cut trees. He's not going to run a skidder. He's not going to run the skid steer. He's going to cut trees. That's all he wants to do. See it starting to move a little bit there in the top. Suspenseful, isn't it? Try being on the other end of the camera here. You need me to push on it, Dad?
I think that hedge limb's hole grows into the side of the tree around there.
I'll back in. Is that all that's holding it? That hedge is what's holding it? You want me to try to back in there and push it? about this? What a tree. Dad and I both think that's the best tree on the job right there. It's a big tree. Big tree. This one up here, I didn't think we'd ever get it down. If we can weave our way around up here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Dad's boring that out. I barked the back side of it for him. I'll walk through the 100-acre woods here. This is a heck of a tree here. This was one of the trees that, when I looked at this job, that it was one of the 4 that really amazed me. Couldn't have cut any better. Huge. It's huge. That. Of course, that hedge limb right there, this hedge is growing right next to this walnut. Really starting to grow into it. Look at this log here. That first 10 foot, I guessed it at 26. That's what I guessed it at. And the log above it's phenomenal. But this spot right here, see this hedge? We had to cut this hedge out. That's what was holding the tree, why it wouldn't fall. Of course, I was pushing with the pusher right here, trying to keep pressure on it to get it to go, and I was just easing on it. You know, I was more or less riding the clutch on the skidder, gently giving it more and more pressure until it finally busted loose. But this hedge, this walnut, was starting to grow into and around this hedge branch. And this hedge, you can't hardly break it anyway. So it's growing into that, and that's what the holdup was on getting it cut. Not why it wouldn't fall and why I was having trouble pushing it. I had to reposition twice to get a good place to push it. And you can see the limb right there, that one that's broke, that's the limb that's holding it up. Just big the whole way to the top. All the way up to where the crotch was. That's just a huge, huge log. A lot of big lumber logs up here. Actually, this will probably make a low-grade veneer right here. 10 foot of this will probably be low-grade veneer. This part right here, we'll cut this out, this big deformation right here, where that hedge is growing into it. We'll end up cutting him out. I'd kind of like to drag this out, but I want to see what this little big thing's going to do here. This is kind of one of those moments of truth logs, trees right here. Actually, what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to grapple onto that and kind of get on the way. And then I'm going to go up here, I'm going to jump off and come down here and watch Dad finish cutting this. That's a hog behind the old 548 there. We've still got that beast there to cut. After this one, we've got one more here in the very back, and it's another big one. Not quite as big as this one here, or this one up here, but it's right there, kind of about the same caliber. Better stand back here a little bit. Actually, or not. We're gonna go in here where the action's at. We're gonna get right down in here, because I wanna see it when it falls. I should be dragging these out, but it's trees like this that you'll remember all your life. Especially getting to work with your dad doing it. I said you couldn't have a more picturesque setting for this big giant to grow right down here. There's a good source of water. Grows right down here in the bottom of this draw, where she's getting everything she needs. Growing tall and straight. Its crown's the top of the canopy there. All kinds of water and runoff for it to grow. It's the king of the forest. Let's go here and see what Dad's looking at real quick. I come back here, Dad was cutting kind of a getaway path to trim this hedge up. some of these dead limbs so he can make a speedy getaway if he needs to. One thing about it, that's something of the utmost importance, always making sure you got a getaway path when you're cutting timber. Had to use the old power wedge there to get it over. But my gosh, that might be the finest log I've ever laid eyes on. Couldn't have landed any better. I was scared of that crotch. Luckily it hung up in those hedge. Nice soft landing. Beautiful. That is majestic. That's probably the best quality log I've ever had a part of cutting in my life. What a tree. Alright, while Dad's marking up logs, we're going to go hook up to the pintle hitch because, like I said, we got to take the skid steer home with us tonight and back in the morning and back home tonight because me and Brandon are doing dirt work of our evenings. That's how we're spending our evenings right now. So we're going to run over here, hook up to the old load trail. Then we're going to come back over here real quick. We're going to do a walkthrough in this pile of walnut, what we got cut today. There's still one tree in the timber I didn't drag out. And that last big tree we cut, I've still got the top of it. We actually just cut the good log off and got it out because it was a load. So we've still got to cut the lumber out of the top, which there's a ton of lumber in the top of that tree. But I think that log was like 25 foot, 23 inches was the first log we cut out of it. So it's a hoss. It's a hoss. Still got that big guy there, that big guy there, those two big guys there, and one monster over there in the fence line. So we've still got some big trees to cut tomorrow. So let's get hooked up. That's it, man. That's a big log. Big log. Of course, these are some of the ones from yesterday here. Everything I got bucked up from yesterday. It stopped right here at this old big tree. And this is today's log, starting here. Of course, the big one over there on the end. That's a champ there. That's that one that had the hedge growing in it. Another hog. It's that one got a little bit of a dry socket there in it. Not good, but still a pretty good log. Big old chunk of wood there. Of course, these little guys, which these are good logs, don't get me wrong, but looking at those other things, they're just kind of looks like the bones, the scraps. Looks like the bones, man. Let's grab this off the skidder. I don't like to leave anything on equipment. Come on, man, I'll get off there. Well, that's it for today. It's time to go do some dirt work after me and Dad eat lunch. But tomorrow we're going to try to put the wraps on it. We'll try to get her finished up tomorrow, get the rest of them cut and laid out. But there's a lot of footage here. There's a lot of footage here in just a few trees. Good pile of logs, man. Let's get loaded.